lost their way along the way, and then they gave up. But I wanted to make this nonprofit to be that person, that organization they can call with a group of people like-minded like myself, whatever skill you have, to help walk people through whatever goal they're trying to accomplish. And it's such a grand thing, and it's kind of complicated to talk about. So I'm glad I'm being able to do this to get me used to trying to consolidate and talk about what I'm trying to do, because it's really a big thing. It's like I'm trying to build a conglomerate, a social network. Like they build these conglomerates with capitalism. I believe we can do the same thing with social work. I don't want to call it socialism because people cringe at that word, but just on the social service side of things. Giving information is free. And we can have, instead of having people on the corners selling dope, being dope dealers, we can be on those same corners being hope dealers, where we're in the community. Yeah. Yeah, where we're out here present in the community, just like the drug dealers was present in the community, on every corner, in every other house or more, right? So we need to, I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm sorry, but the best way I can explain it for people who are from where we're from, the streets, is to equate it to the crack cocaine game. That thing came, took over, and made a wave in one generation. And I believe we can reverse that in one generation using their same tactics, but putting different things in place, right? So for instance, when people decided to sell crack cocaine or whatever, or use it, they didn't have $50,000 to start it. They weren't chemists. They didn't know how to make it. Someone told them. And if they got it wrong, they showed them again. And if they got it wrong, they showed them again until they got that crack cocaine cooked up right and sold in the streets. So now it was nothing. And there was millionaires in these streets. I mean, you're old enough to remember. There were millionaires in these streets in the 80s and the 90s. There were 100,000aires in these streets in the 80s and 90s. So we know we can get to the money. So I'm saying so now how can we get to the money instead of drugs? We can use businesses, the businesses that's lacking, the businesses that was there before integration, right? But here's a dilemma. People don't have money. They don't have $50,000. They don't know how to run a business. But guess what? They didn't know how to sell a drug. They didn't have the capital for that. But what did they do? They gave it to them. They gave them the information for free on how to do it. They walked with them by having them on their team and building a team, and they work their way up from, how it goes in the street. So we can apply those same principles with Black-owned businesses, no matter what it may be, because we need everything from gas stations to gas stations to hair salons, to mechanic shops, to cell phone stores, to grocery stores, to banks, to hospitals, all of that stuff. I mean, even down to mining gold. The sky's the limit, So we can apply that same concept, right? Finding the people who know how to do it. I don't know how to run a business. All I know is that I have this idea, and I need to find people who want to do this with me or know how to, even if they don't want to do it with me, who want to take this idea and implement it. Like, this is an idea I want you to steal. I want people with millions of dollars to steal this idea and make it happen, So what you do is just like the crack cocaine game. You don't need $50,000. I'm going to give you everything you need to start this business. As a nonprofit organization, that's what I want to do. Find funders, find people who want to donate. We get this one store. Let's say it's on south side of Richmond on Hall Street. One store that's just a basic poppy store, for us now, or our store. And we teach people. So let's say you are a assistant manager at a Dollar General or a Food Line. You take that assistant manager and you bring them in, because basically they're going to already know how to do certain things like run a store, So they're not really fresh from the ground up. They already have experience running a store or a grocery store, whatever it may be. They know how to manage. So you take them and you teach them this particular business, and they're not only running it as a manager, they're running it to also own it in the future, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of saying you need $100,000 to start a store, we're going to say, here's a store. Now you work with us through this program of ownership so that you can create a legacy for yourself, right? So the first year, just like the game, they're training, and you get your salary or your wages, or however it goes. And then the next phase of the program, which could be another year or 6 months, I don't know however the details are going to work out. The next year, you now start to earn money as an owner. And it's not like a pyramid scheme thing, not at all. This is 100% giving without expecting much in return, right? This is, let's say if I had $1 million, I'm going to invest $100,000